يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين.
وهذا معنى قول بعض السلف. This is the meaning of some of the Salaf. That al-abd, the servant, يعمل الذنب, could commit a sin, يدخل به Jannah, and through that sin he enters the paradise. ويعمل حسنة, he could do a good deed, يدخل بها النار, and enter the hellfire. قالوا كيف? How? قال, he said, he does or commits a sin, and that sin stays in front of his eyes. He's always thinking about it, always reflecting upon it. خائفا, fearing Allah. مشفقا, and having regret and feeling bad about it. Always crying about it. Always sad about it. Always modest regarding his Lord because of the sin. Always with his head down in front of his Lord. Always with his heart broken in front of his Lord. So that sin becomes a means for him to achieve success in this life and the hereafter. To such a degree that that sin becomes more beneficial for him than all the obediences or a great amount of obediences he could have done. Because of what came from that sin of his regret, his not promising never to commit the sin again, his constantly reflecting upon the sin, his humility before Allah Ta'ala. These are all matters that bring about the sa'adah, the happiness of a servant and his success. And to that sin becomes the means of that servant entering the Jannah. وَيَفْعَلْ حَسَنًا, he could do a good deed, and through that good deed enter the hellfire. How? يَفْعَلْ حَسَنًا, does a good deed, and he keep acting as if he's done a favor for his Lord. Keep mentioning as if he has done something that is praiseworthy for his Lord. And he develops a pride and an arrogance. And he sees himself at a level he should never see himself. And he becomes astonished with himself. And he feeds off of this, saying, Fa'alt, I did this, or Fa'altu, I did this. And this enters into his heart that which is called ujub, being astonished with oneself, wal-kibr, pride, wal-fakhr, boasting, and believing oneself better than others. All of those matters will be a reason for his destruction. Now, the way that Ibn Qayyim is saying this is really beautiful. I read it years ago, and it's probably more beautiful than... Listen to what he calls this type of person. فَإِذَا رَادَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, if Allah wants بِهَذَا الْمِسْكِينَ, if Allah wants for this sick, poor, horrible servant, khayran, good, ibtilahu, he'll test him with a matter that will break him down and lower his neck and make him think little of himself. And he make himself look little within himself. He will no longer look as if he's all of this. This is what Allah wants good for servant. وَإِنْ أَرَادَ بِهِ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ, but if Allah wants other than that, he'll leave him to what he's doing. And he'll let him be astonished with himself. And he'll let him be prideful. وَهَذَا هُوَ خُذْلَانِ, and this is where Allah is forsaking that servant. الْمَوْجِبْ لِحَلَاكَهِ, which must necessarily bring about that servant's destruction. فَإِنَّ الْعَارِفِينَ, because those who know, كُلُّهُمْ مُجْمِعُونَ, all of them are upon consensus, that the tawfiq, the grace of Allah, is that Allah don't lead you to yourself. That Allah doesn't lead you to yourself. وَالْخُذْلَانِ, Allah forsaking the servant, is that Allah has left that servant to himself. Go ahead. فَمَنْ أَرَادَ اللَّهِ, he who Allah Ta'ala wants for him good, فَتَلَهُ بَابَ الذِّلِّ وَانْكِسَارِ, he'll open for him the door of humility and breaking himself down. وَالدَّوَامَ اللَّجَى إِلَى اللَّهِ, and constantly returning to Allah. وَالْإِفْتِقَارِ إِلَيْهِ, feeling impoverished and poor and nothing before Allah. وَرُؤْيَةُ عُيُوبَ نَفْسِهِ, seeing his own faults. وَجَهْلِهَا, and the ignorance of his own self. وَظُلْمِهَا, and the justice of his own self. وَعُدْوَانِهَا, and the enmity of his own self. And he began to witness the bounties of his Lord upon him, and the goodness of his Lord to him, and the mercy of his Lord upon him, and the generosity of his Lord with him, and the goodness and his help, and so on and so forth. So he will praise Allah Ta'ala. فَالْعَارِفُ, the one who knows Allah Ta'ala, سَائِرًا إِلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى بَيْنَ هَذَيْنِ الْجَنَاحَيْنِ, he's traveling to Allah Ta'ala between these two wings, like a bird with two wings. He is not able to approach Allah Ta'ala, and his journey will not be correct, and he will not reach his destination unless he is between these two wings. فَمَا تَفَاتَهُ وَاحِدٌ مِّنْهُمَا, when he misses one of them, he's like a bird that has lost one of its wings.